Season 2 of Squid Game begins with the final scene of Season 1's finale. Ji-hun leaves the terminal determined to confront the frontman behind the games. Realizing he is being monitored, he removes a tracking device implanted behind his ear. Hwang Joon-ho survives his fall from the cliff. He is now working as a traffic cop. He remains determined to uncover the truth about the games, and his brother, the front man Joon-ho's investigation leads him back into the perilous world of the Squid Game, as he seeks evidence to expose the organization's atrocities. 2 years later, Ji-hun now lives frugally in a fortified hotel building and has employed Mr. Kim, his former loan shark, and his lackeys to track down the game's recruiter in Seoul. After 2 years of searching, Woo-suk spots the recruiter at a station and informs Ji-hun. Both Mr. Kim and Woo-suk decide to follow the recruiter, unaware of the danger he poses. They eventually locate the recruiter and watch him offer vagrants bread and a lottery ticket. Most choose the ticket, and the recruiter destroys the rejected bread in front of them. Joon-ho was rescued by Sea Captain Park, a fisherman who found him unconscious in the water. Grateful for saving his life, Joon-ho partners with Captain Park to locate and expose the secretive island where the deadly games are held. They use the boat to scour the surrounding seas to uncover the location of the Squid Game operations. The recruiter, anticipating their pursuit, ambushes them in an alleyway, overpowering both men despite their numerical advantage. He then abducts them, binding and gagging them before forcing them into a deadly game. The game is a combination of rock, paper, scissors -1, and Russian roulette. In this twisted version, each player throws 2 hands simultaneously and then removes one, with the loser of each round required to pull the trigger of a revolver loaded with a single bullet. After several rounds without incident, the recruiter escalates the stakes by loading all but one revolver chamber. In a subsequent round, Mr. Kim loses and, recognizing Woo-suk's recent marriage and prospects, chooses not to remove a hand, effectively sacrificing himself. The recruiter then shoots Mr. Kim in the head, resulting in his death. His search leads him to Sunshine Capital, a clandestine organization operating from an unassuming office building in Seoul, South Korea. Upon arriving at Sunshine Capital, Joon-ho finds the building deserted. Determined to uncover any leads, he breaks into the premises. Inside, he discovers about Ji-hun motel location, indicating a connection between Ji-hun and the organization's activities. The recruiter, aware of Ji-hun's pursuit, confronts him at his hideout. During this encounter, they engage in a tense conversation, delving into their pasts and moral compasses. The recruiter reveals that he was once a soldier in the games who killed his father, a player, and justifies the game's cruelty by vilifying the participants as scum. He challenges Ji-hun to a round of Russian roulette. The confrontation culminates in a high-stakes game of Russian roulette where Ji-hun ultimately emerges victorious, resulting in the recruiter's death. Joon-ho, hearing a gunshot fired by the recruiter during a tense game of Russian roulette with Ji-hun. Joon-ho rushes to the scene and discovers Woo-suk tied up in a room. After freeing him, Woo-suk guides Joon-ho to Ji-hun, who is in a precarious situation following the deadly encounter with the recruiter. Ji-hun examines the recruiter's corpse and retrieves a gift-wrapped card from his pocket, which contains information leading to the frontman of the games. Upon finding Ji-hun, Joon-ho arrests him under suspicion of murder. However, Woo-suk intervenes, allowing Ji-hun to escape immediate capture. The two men then engage in a conversation about potentially joining forces to dismantle the Squid Games. Despite this alliance, Joon-ho withholds critical information about the frontman's identity from Ji-hun, maintaining suspense regarding his true motives. A significant new character introduced in this episode is Kang No-yul, a former North Korean military officer turned struggling artist. She is depicted sleeping in her car and working at an amusement park, highlighting her precarious situation. Her backstory reveals her desperate search for her child left behind in North Korea, adding emotional depth to her character and setting up an intriguing undercover storyline. Kang No-yul's character adds emotional weight to the narrative as she navigates her traumatic past. Her motivations for joining the games become clearer as she seeks to reunite with her child. She receives an invitation to the Squid. Kang No-yul boards a truck to assume her role as a guard within the game's structure. Jae-young-suk is a street artist and a devoted single father to his young daughter, Na-yeon, who is battling blood cancer. Struggling to afford her expensive medical treatments, Jae-young-suk sees the Squid Game's grand prize as his only hope to secure the necessary funds for her care. To ensure his allies, Detective Junho and Woo-suk, can track his location, Ji-hun conceals a GPS tracker within a dental implant. This strategic move aims to provide his team with real-time updates on his whereabouts as he re-enters the game. Woo-suk recruits a team of mercenaries. Woo-suk and his team engage in target practice, honing their skills for the impending confrontation. This training emphasizes their readiness and determination to take on the challenges posed by the Squid Games. The mercenaries are crucial in executing this plan, as they bring tactical expertise and firepower that Ji-hun and Junho lack. As tensions rise, there are hints that their actions may attract attention from the frontmen and other game organizers. The stakes are heightened as they prepare for potential confrontations that could either lead to their success or result in dire consequences. The team infiltrates the Halloween party, where Ji-hun is escorted by one of the game's pink-clad soldiers into a limousine, with his team in pursuit. Woo-suk attempts to follow but is incapacitated by another guard using a taser. He confronts the front man via speaker, demanding an end to the games, and the front man dismisses his pleas, stating that the games will not end unless the world changes. Just as they attempt to capture front man, Junho's crew faces an attack that disables their vehicle, leaving Ji-hun alone and vulnerable. Determined to infiltrate and destroy the system from within, Ji-hun convinces the front man to allow his participation in the games once more. This interaction underscores the philosophical divide between them and sets the stage for future confrontation. Ji-hun awakens in the familiar dormitory, donning his previous number, 456. The front man announces that the players will participate in 6 games, with a total prize of 45.6 billion won. A significant change this season is that players can vote after each game to either continue playing or leave with a share of the prize money. This new rule introduces a layer of strategy and division among players, as they must decide whether to risk their lives for a larger reward or opt for safety. The episode highlights various players' backstories, showcasing their motivations for participating in the games. Lee Myung-ji, player 333, is revealed to be an ex-YouTuber whose bad investment advice led to significant financial losses for his followers. Is deeply in debt due to a cryptocurrency scam he perpetrated as a former YouTuber, where he promoted a fake coin called Dalmatian and caused significant financial losses for his followers. Thanos, player 230, joins the game because he is deeply in debt due to a failed cryptocurrency investment, where he lost all his savings after following advice from a YouTuber. Hyunju, player 120, joins the deadly games primarily to win enough money to fund her gender-affirming surgery. Park Yong-sik, player 007, joins the Squid Game to pay off his gambling debts. He's unaware that his mother, Jang Jeongja, player 149, has also entered the games to help him. Kim Joon-hee, player 222, joins the Squid Game to win money for her unborn child. Seon-nyo, player 44, is a former, renowned shaman with a strong belief in her mystical abilities. Sammy, player 380, enters the game because she is deeply desperate for money, likely due to a dire financial situation. I'm Jong-dae, player 100. Presumably, a businessman of significant repute, took out loans totaling 10 billion Korean wons and was unable to convert this into profit, putting him in deep debt. With few options, this adds depth to the characters and illustrates the desperate circumstances that drive them to compete. Ji-hun recognizes player 390 as his friend Young-bae and advises him to stay close. Junho and his team, who are trying to locate Ji-hun, use a tracking device implanted in his tooth. However, they discover that the frontman has anticipated their move, leading them to find the device discarded by a fisherman, leaving them without a lead on Ji-hun's location. The players are led to the game arena, where they face the giant motion-detecting doll from the first season. Ji-hun, aware of the deadly consequences, attempts to warn others. Ji-hun warns the players that elimination will result in death, though many dismiss him. Despite his efforts, panic ensues when the first player is eliminated, leading to a chaotic scramble. Ji-hun manages to guide several players to safety, but the game results in significant casualties. Despite the chaos, Ji-hun's cautions help reduce casualties. Player 230, known as the rapper Thanos, is under the influence of drugs and pushes others to eliminate them. Ji-hun and player 120, named Cho Hyun-ju, attempt to save an eliminated player who was only non-fatally shot, but No-Yul shoots the player dead. After the game, the players are given the opportunity to vote on whether to continue. Ji-hun urges the players to vote for the game's end and reveals he is the sole winner of a previous iteration. Players voting to continue are labeled O, while those voting to leave are labeled X. The vote reaches a tie, leaving the final decision to player 001. In a startling twist, player 001 is revealed to be the frontman. The frontman, posing as player 001, casts the deciding vote to continue. Remaining contestants grappling with the psychological toll of the previous games. Recognizing the importance of alliances, player 001 feigns an alliance with Ji-hun and fabricates a story, based on truth, about his reason for joining the game. Myung-ji had previously scammed Thanos out of a large sum of money through a cryptocurrency scheme, causing Thanos to lose a significant amount of wealth. This created a deep personal animosity between the two characters, leading to a confrontation within the games where Thanos sought revenge by physically attacking Myung-ji. Player 001 intervenes and stops the altercation easily. Meanwhile, a group of soldiers, led by the officer, begin harvesting organs to sell on the black market. No-Yul becomes aware of an illicit organ harvesting operation within the game's infrastructure, where certain guards intentionally wound players during games to keep them alive for organ extraction. Disapproving of this inhumane practice, No-Yul takes it upon herself to ensure that eliminated players are fully deceased, thereby preventing their exploitation. The masked officer, who oversees the games in the frontman's absence, is deeply involved in this organ harvesting scheme. Frustrated by No-Yul's interference, he summons her for a private discussion. During their conversation, he references their 7-year acquaintance and instructs her to cease disrupting the operation, emphasizing the importance of maintaining the status quo. A rescue team, including Woo-suk and Captain Park, faces significant challenges due to adverse weather conditions, hindering their progress. Suspicions arise between Woo-suk and Captain Park, further complicating their mission to locate and save the players. Contrary to Ji-hun's expectation of the Dalgona challenge, the players are introduced to the six-legged pentathlon. Players are divided into teams of 5. Each team member's leg is tied to the adjacent members, forming a six-legged unit, emphasizing the necessity for synchronized movement. Dokji, a traditional Korean game involving flipping paper tiles. Bata Turbang, a game where players throw stones to hit a target. Gongji, similar to jacks, involving tossing and catching small pebbles. Gassing, a spinning top game requiring precision and balance. Jejai, a game akin to hacky sack, where players keep a shuttlecock in the air using their feet. Teams are given a 5-minute limit to complete all 5 minigames and reach the finish line. Teams must progress along the track, stopping at each minigame station. At each station, one designated member plays the minigame. Success allows the team to advance to the next station. Failure results in the immediate elimination of the entire team. In the initial rounds, 2 teams are highlighted. Team A. This team manages to complete 4 out of the 5 minigames but struggles with synchronization and time management, ultimately failing to finish within the allotted time. Team B. Despite a strong start, this team faces difficulties during the flying stone minigame, where their chosen player repeatedly misses the target, consuming valuable time. They, too, fail to complete the course in time, as players grapple with their fears and insecurities. The pressure mounts when one player succumbs to stress, leading to a moment of panic that affects the entire team's performance. Both teams' failures result in their immediate execution by the masked guards, serving as a grim reminder of the stakes involved. Player 120, the Mother, Player 095, and Player 044 competing in a series of minigames. They must complete 4 tasks within 5 minutes to advance. The first 3 minigames are successfully completed, but Player 044 struggles with a spinning top task until Player 120 intervenes by slapping her to regain focus, which ultimately helps them succeed. Despite the masked officer's warnings, No-Yul continues her sabotage of the soldiers' organ trade by shooting living eliminated players dead. Understanding the critical importance of role assignment, Song Ji-hun's team, comprising Ji-hun, Oh Young-il, Park Young-bae, Kang Dae-ho, and Kim Joon-hee, engaged in the final stages of the six-legged pentathlon. Dokji, Kim Junhee, despite being pregnant, swiftly conquers this tile-flipping game. Bata Turbang, Park Youngbae demonstrates precision, completing the stone-throwing challenge with ease. Gong Ji, Kong Dae-ho showcases dexterity, successfully navigating this game reminiscent of Jack's. Gassing, Oh Young-il, player 001, encounters multiple failures, causing mounting tension. However, with the team's encouragement, he managed to stabilize his performance and complete the spinning top challenge. Jejai, Ji-hun faces the final task of keeping a shuttlecock airborne for 5 consecutive kicks. Under immense pressure and with time dwindling, he nearly falters but ultimately succeeds, securing the team's advancement. No Yul is attacked by 2 soldiers involved in the organ trade, who warn her to stop interfering. During the following vote, player 001 encourages the players to vote against continuing the game, but a larger majority opts to proceed, believing the prize pool remains too small. Ji-hun confides in Youngbae about his growing uncertainty in rescuing everyone. Eun-ho and Woo-suk, now with an expanded mercenary team, continue their search for the island. The third game, Mingle, requires players to enter designated rooms after forming groups based on an announced number. Participants are placed on a large, rotating platform reminiscent of a merry-go-round. As the platform spins, music plays, creating a tense atmosphere. When the music stops, a number is announced over the intercom. Players must quickly form groups matching that number and enter designated rooms. Any player who fails to join a group of the specified size or doesn't enter a room in time is eliminated. Upon the music stops, the number 4 is announced. Players scramble to form groups of 4. Some alliances hold firm, while others fracture under pressure. A few players are unable to find a group in time and are ruthlessly eliminated by the masked guards. The process repeats with different numbers, increasing the psychological strain. Trust becomes a scarce commodity as players betray former allies to secure their own survival. The tension reaches its peak when the number 2 is announced. Desperation sets in as players fight to pair up, knowing that failure means death. In a dramatic turn, alliances are shattered, and violence erupts as players vie for survival. The round concludes with a significant reduction in the player count, leaving only the most cunning and ruthless participants. In a shocking display, Youngbae witnesses player 001, the front man, eliminate player 343 during the final round to secure a room for themselves. Parallel to the events within the game, external forces are at play. Detective Junho's drone discovers a hidden door, which turns out to be a booby trap, resulting in casualties among his team. This subplot adds layers to the narrative, highlighting the dangers faced by those attempting to infiltrate or dismantle the game from the outside. During the vote, several players, including player 125, who has been subservient to Thanos and Namgyu, changed their votes to Dex. The deciding vote again falls to player 001, resulting in a tie. The players are given a day before re-voting. In the bathroom, Thanos and Namgyu pressure player 125, named Park Min-soo, into changing his vote to O, but Myung-ji and other players who voted Dex intervene to defend him. A fight ensues, with Thanos strangling Myung-ji, who then retaliates by stabbing Thanos in the neck with a metal fork, killing him. The situation quickly escalates as other players become involved, resulting in a chaotic brawl. The masked guards, who are responsible for maintaining order, stand by passively, allowing the violence to continue unchecked. The altercation results in the deaths of several players, including Thanos. The exact number of fatalities varies across sources, but it is evident that the incident significantly reduces the player count. The bathroom brawl exacerbates existing tensions among the remaining players, further eroding trust and highlighting the brutal nature of the competition. Following the bathroom brawl, the surviving players return to the dormitory, where tensions between opposing factions intensify. Distrust permeates the group, with alliances fracturing under the strain of the competition. Captain Park of Junho's team is revealed to be a double agent, having sabotaged their drone and killed its pilot. Ji-hun predicts there will be an attack that night by players who want to continue the game, but convinces a small group of Dex players to avoid attacking, arguing that the game's creators are the true enemies. Ji-hun becomes increasingly disillusioned with the orchestrators of the deadly games. Recognizing the diminishing chances of survival and driven by a desire to dismantle the oppressive system, Ji-hun devises a bold plan to incite a rebellion against the front man and the masked guards. He rallies a group of like-minded participants, including his close ally Park Young-bae, to join him in this perilous endeavor. During the anticipated massacre, Ji-hun's group stays hidden as the rest of the group receives heavy losses. Sammy, player 380, was stabbed to death by Namgyu during a riot in the sleeping quarters. Because she voted to leave the game, which angered him, Ji-hun and others emerge only once soldiers arrive. Ji-hun's group baits the soldiers, killing all but one and taking their firearms. They start a rebellion, forcing the surviving soldier at gunpoint to lead them to the control room. The rebellion quickly escalates into a full-scale confrontation. Ji-hun's group, though limited in numbers and weaponry, employs guerrilla tactics to challenge the seemingly endless ranks of pink-suited soldiers. The facility's sterile corridors and stairwells become battlegrounds, echoing with gunfire and shouts. Despite their determination, the rebels face overwhelming odds, leading to significant casualties within their ranks. However, more soldiers open fire en route and the rebellion starts to falter when the group runs out of ammunition. Daeho, tasked with retrieving more ammo, suffers a combat stress reaction and is unable to return. Player 001 betrays the group by killing 2 players and faking his death. While other surrendering players are executed, Ji-hun and Young-bae are captured. In-ho, now masked as the frontman, executes Young-bae in front of a horrified Ji-hun. The rebellion is brutally suppressed, leaving a trail of death and despair. Ji-hun, wounded and grappling with the weight of his failed uprising, witnesses the loss of his close friend Young-bae, further deepening his anguish. The episode concludes on a somber note, with Ji-hun captured and the games poised to continue unabated. This cliffhanger sets the stage for the anticipated 3rd season, leaving viewers in suspense regarding Ji-hun's ultimate fate and the future of the sinister games. If you enjoyed diving deep into the story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated.